President Trump had a case with the IRS, and it was for $10 billion. And it was settled in May. Over. Signed. Closed. Done. And then, last night, I believe, or the night before, a federal judge in Miami reopened it. She didn't go after the settlement. She went after the lawyers, 4 of them. And one is the man who walks into his Senate confirmation hearing to become our next Attorney General in less than 48 hours. Her order made 3 moves. Move 1 targets the lawyers personally. Move 2 erases the settlement. And move 3 lands directly on tomorrow's hearing. And when you stack them in order, you can see exactly what this is. This is lawfare. Lawfare that we haven't seen since the Obama administration. And ironically, where this lady comes from. And it's targeted against President Trump. Yep. They spent 2 years going after him. Now they're going after anybody who represents him. I want to back up for a second, because the story that we're hearing from the media, well, they're telling us a story that skips the part where all of this started with anything even resembling a crime. Okay? During President Trump's first term, a contractor working inside the IRS stole his private tax returns and leaked them online. Well, actually leaked them to the New York Times and ProPublica. Now, that's not an allegation. That actually happened. The leaker was prosecuted. Nobody can dispute that. So this year, President Trump and his 2 sons filed a $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS over that leak. And in May, the Justice Department settled it. The settlement did 2 things. It set up a $1.776 billion anti-weaponization. Yes, that number is a nod to 1776. To compensate American workers who were targeted by their own government, and the president used that figure tactfully. But it also barred the IRS from pursuing tax claims against the president, his sons, and his company for their past returns. Now, the fund got killed weeks ago after some blowback in Congress. The DOJ walked it back. That part was already dead. The case was closed. Then, 35 retired judges wrote to the court and asked Judge Kathleen Williams to reopen a settled case. 35 former judges, all organized, lawyered up, petitioning a sitting judge to unwind a deal between a plaintiff and the federal government. And she gave them everything they asked for in a 56-page order. Now, Williams, by the way, was appointed by Barack Obama in 2011. I'm not calling names. That's just for the record. Even Fox is pointing that out. So, move 1, she referred Alejandro Brito, President Trump's personal attorney, to the Florida bar for discipline. She blocked a second attorney, Daniel Epstein, from appearing in her district for a year. And then she went further. She ordered copies of her ruling mailed to the New York bar, where Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche is a member, and to the D.C. bar, where Associate Attorney General Dan Woodward is a member. So if you count that, 4 attorneys touched in one order, 2 private lawyers, and the 2 top officials at the DOJ. Not one of them was on this trial. Not one of them was a defendant. They signed a settlement. And a judge is now flagging their law license for it. Move 2, she declared the settlement itself off limits. President Trump, the DOJ, and the IRS are now barred from citing that agreement in any judicial, administrative, or regulatory proceeding ever, anywhere, forever. She wrote that the case was brought for an improper purpose. There was never a real controversy because the president controls the agency that he sued. And she found that the plaintiffs acted in bad faith. Her words. And I'm not going to, look, hide the things from you. I mean, because you're going to hear them all week. She even floated that the tax relief may violate the emoluments clause. I'm going to say monuments, but emoluments clause of the Constitution. Now, you know what she didn't do? And it matters. The provision barring the IRS from pursuing tax claims against the president and his family is still on the books. Her order made it harder to use it as a shield, but she didn't erase it. And CNN, they brought up the fact that nobody knows how far this actually reaches, at least from their current analysis. So, when you see headlines saying the deal is dead, well, that's not what the order says. So, yeah, lawfare. We thought we were done with that, but I guess not. I mean, well, let's go to move 3. And it's the one that tells you what this is really about. And it's timing. The order dropped Monday. Todd Blanche sits down in front of the Senate Judiciary tomorrow, first confirmation hearing, to become our AG permanently. So he filed a 56-page order flagging his bar membership 2 days exactly before Republican senators were already planning on talking to him about the same settlement. There's some people that don't like the president. They're going to bring it up. But if you believe this was a coincidence, well, I have a reflecting pool in Washington to sell you. Now, the media spent today asking pretty much the same question. And it's bullshit. Did Trump collude with his own Justice Department? That's the wrong question. The right one is, since when does a federal judge reopen a closed case, especially at the request of 35 retired judges, in order to go after the law license of the attorneys who signed it and time it to detonate under the shadow of a confirmation hearing? I mean, think about what that means going forward. And I say this as somebody who actually ran for Congress and watched how this machine operates from the inside. If representing Donald Trump or anybody for that matter means a judge can come after your license, your practice, and your standing in the profession, then the message to every American lawyer is simple. Don't take these cases. And maybe that's the play. You don't have to beat the guy in court if nobody will stand next to him. And the DOJ said exactly that last night. Their statement called Williams a partisan judge who disregarded decades of precedent. And they pointed out the obvious. The plaintiffs in this case were victims of an admitted crime. Trump's legal team said the same thing. A rogue, politically motivated employee leaked the president's private returns to the press. That's where it started. Not with a scheme. It was a leak. A leak. Okay. So here's what we'll watch. Tomorrow, Blanche is going to walk into the hearing room. Every Democrat on that committee now has 56 pages of ammo written by a federal judge. So I guess we'll have to watch which Republicans pick it up too, because a few already called it the settlement a slush fund. And hey, Thursday night, 9:00, President Trump addresses the nation. And it's going to be on free and fair elections. Supposed to be some declassified intelligence that he's saying is really big. So anyway, 2 days, 2 collisions, same war. Story isn't over. Next move belongs to the DOJ, and I'll be here when they make it. So thank you for following the channel, folks. If you want a breakdown of everything that's going on, click this video. I promise it's worth it.